what you can expect tonight is a presentation that's going to talk a little bit about, again, what's going on in the world today. We're going to be talking about some different strategies and ways to be able to preserve your money, to be able to protect your money, to be able to grow your money, and even to multiply your money. I do believe that this is a new world economy that we're living in. And if we fail to adapt and we fail to innovate, we are going to continue to see people struggling and suffering. And I always say that with these new challenges that we're experiencing, many of those new challenges also require new solutions. You know, what do I mean by new challenges? Well, many of us have never lived in inflation rates that we are currently experiencing right now. I, on Saturday, was just kind of blown away because inflation has a way of just sneaking up on you and kind of robbing you blind in some ways. And let me give you an example. So Saturday, my daughter had a few friends over, and you know, we have a restaurant shop out here called Jersey Mike's. I don't know who enjoys Jersey Mike's. I love Jersey Mike's. A lot of you guys are raising your hands. And so I just decided to order some Jersey Mike's sandwiches, got on, and I was going to go pick them up. And I went and a 6-inch sandwich and a bag of chips was $18.95. $18.95. I'm like, hello, what happened to Subway, like the $3.99 foot long, right? There's no such thing anymore. And I thought about that, and I thought, you know, I mean, I'm grateful that I'm blessed that business is good and that we have abundance in our lives right now. But I also have been in situations where I have had to put my last $4 or $5 into the gas tank at times just to try and figure it out. And I think about that and think, gosh, you know, how difficult that must be. I mean, think about it. We're at $5 a gallon here right now in Arizona. I don't know where it is for you guys. I'd love to hear, maybe in the chat, let me know what you guys are experiencing, but $5 a gallon. And so I look at that, and then I also realize that the average household combined income right now is about $55,000 a year. Do you realize that with the current prices of mortgages, with the current prices of homes where they are right now, that it would take someone approximately 44% of that average household income to make the average household payment in the United States right now? So you start thinking about these things and you start thinking, gosh, you know, if salaries are not keeping up with current inflation, then where does that leave us? You know where it leaves us? It leaves us in a situation where consumer debt is on the rise. You know, people are carrying more debt than they have in a long time. In fact, they're carrying as much debt as they did during the Great Depression. So we see all of these things, and then we start looking at, you know, some of the other things that are interesting and new to me, which is I don't know if I ever thought that I would see the amount of banks that are closing at the rate that we are experiencing right now here in the United States. I mean, I've always thought, you know, maybe you see these things in other countries, right? Maybe collapsing or not as advanced third world country type of situations. But I guess I've always just thought, nah, that would never happen here. You know, it would never happen where people would be lining up at a bank to be able to get their money. You'll never have problems going to the ATM and getting money, or going to the gas station and getting gas. And I'll tell you guys, the Circle K's in the region that I live in right now, they were out of gas for 3 weeks here, 3 weeks, just because it's getting a little more difficult to be able to access that fuel. Banks are closing down. You know, you look at all of these things and you think, gosh, the world is changing. And for me, that led me, and I'm going to stop sharing for a minute, I'll come back to this. That led me to a place last year where I was really starting to look for some solutions. Like, what do I do with my money? Real estate's overinflated. I don't necessarily want to leave it in the bank. I mean, there's a term for that. They call it lazy money. When your money is sitting there and it's not doing anything, especially when you have inflation rates as high as they are, if you're not making at least 9% on your money, folks, you're losing money. So I was trying to figure out, what do I do? And I'm a big fan of buying gold and silver to preserve the value of dollars. And so I'm doing some of that. And I got a call from a friend of mine. And he said, look, you know, I'm not trying to recruit you into anything. I want to share an idea with you, a concept with you. And it's focused around commodity-backed crypto. And I like digital currency. I've been a big fan of what it stands for. I like decentralized currency. I'm tired of the banks getting in the middle of my transactions, trying to decide where I can wire money, when I can't wire money. Every time that I walk in with a little bit of money in cash, they want to know where it came from. And, you know, the regulation is just over the top. And so, and I also am at a point where it's starting not to make sense to me to just have my money sitting in a bank account anymore. And let me tell you why I say that. Because I'll go in and let's say that I have $10,000 and I want to deposit that $10,000 in the bank. Well, the bank is going to pay me pennies on the dollar. But at the same time, they're going to take that money and they're going to turn around and they're going to go invest it and they're going to make a fortune on that money. And so I'm starting to see what's happening here. And as I start to understand more and more about the fractional banking system, I realize that the banks are not even required to hold that money in deposit anymore. If all of us right now collectively decided to go to the bank and withdraw our funds, what do you think would happen? The same thing that's happening to many of the exchanges that are collapsing. And so as I start to unpeel the onion a little bit more, it kind of stinks, to be honest with you. It just kind of stinks. And so for me, when I got that call and he said, I'm getting involved with commodity-backed crypto. I've always been a fan of crypto, but I've had my reservations. I've gotten involved, but I've always just put a little bit of money in here and there over time. I like the idea of dollar cost averaging, but you just never know which projects to get involved with. You hear these projects that go up like crazy amounts, Pepe coin, and then they lose all their value and they crash, right? So I've always felt that the moment that somebody tokenized a commodity, that's when fortunes would be made. And what I mean by that is, think about the US dollar for a moment. The dollar used to be backed by gold, right? You couldn't print a dollar unless we had the equivalent in gold. And then 1971 came along, Richard Nixon removed the gold standard. It was quite controversial at the time. And since then, it gave the Federal Reserve power, the ability to be able to print money, and the Federal Reserve and the banks are literally working hand in hand with each other, selling each other back T-bonds and just going back and forth and essentially putting more and more money into circulation. And they're doing it at your expense. They're doing it at my expense. Why? Because they are wrecking our savings. Because you could work your entire life and try and save as much money as you can. But here's the thing. I could go save, Eric, $1 million over the next 40 years. But the question is, what's the $1 million going to be worth in 40 years? That's my biggest concern. You can't outsave inflation and you can't outsave the devaluation of the dollar anymore. And so we have to think like the banks do. And so when he said commodity-backed crypto, I thought, okay, now we've got something, because the same way that the dollar used to be backed by gold, what if a digital currency was actually backed by something? Wouldn't that eliminate the fear? Couldn't that possibly eliminate some of the major fluctuations and the rug pulls and all of these things? Wouldn't it potentially even replace hype with substance? Wouldn't it replace speculation with tangibility? If that were to happen, gosh, man, now that's where fortunes would be made. And you know what? Here we are 12 months later. I've been involved with this project coming up on 12 months. And now what do I see? What do I see, Boomy? I see JP Morgan talking about asset-backed cryptocurrency. I see, who was the other bank that was in the news just recently? It was JP Morgan, and was it Chase Bank, or not Chase? It was Wells Fargo, talking about the future is in asset-backed crypto. And I couldn't be more proud, you guys, to be leading the way with a company that has introduced the first digital currency in the entire world that is backed by real world assets. And so, that's, a little bit of my experience. I decided to get involved. I bought some of the licenses that you're going to hear about tonight. I watched it for about a month or two. And I thought, this just makes sense. And so I started collecting a few more licenses and a few more licenses. And pretty soon, when you've got something that's so good that you just got to call a friend and tell them about it. You got to share it with somebody, right? It's kind of like when you go to a movie and you enjoy it. What do? You tell people about it. So I started saying to my friends, I bought some nodes. And they said, you bought what? I said, I bought some nodes. And they said, what is a node? And I said, well, and I started thinking about how to explain it. And I didn't really know how. So I said, well, I've got this app, and it pays me these cryptocurrency tokens 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I don't have to recruit anybody. I don't have to build a business. And it's honestly really exciting. And for the first time in my life, I can see how potentially over the next 3 to 5 years, I could accomplish what it would have taken me 40 years to accomplish. And you know what? They wanted to know how I could get this. They could get the same app. And so over time, I started realizing there's a lot of other people that are out there that are just like me. And perhaps that's you. Maybe you're like I was a year ago that was looking for solutions. And so I started to tell a few friends. I told my friend Eric, Eric, how many licenses do you own now? You can put it into the chat. Eric said, well, this sounds pretty cool. I think Eric now owns something around, I don't know if you can see the chat. I'm probably the only one that can see it. I think he owns about 500 plus licenses. Oh, excuse me. I'm a little low, 685 licenses Eric now owns. Garish now owns, he's on here right now. Garish owns 45 licenses. So what many of us are starting to experience is that we feel good about the stored value of these asset-backed tokens, but we feel even better about the potential over the next 3 to 5 years. So folks, this is not get rich quick, but it is get rich possible. But it is going to require you to truly step outside of your comfort zone and learn the tokenomics and learn what this is really about and how it works. So as we get into tonight's presentation, I want to start off by saying that I am not a financial advisor. Everything that I share with you tonight is my opinion. There are no guarantees. In fact, when people talk about risk when it comes to cryptocurrency, it's real. You should educate yourself. That's part of the reason why we're taking our time tonight. I'm going to educate you. I'm not going to rush through this presentation. I'm going to do my best to share the knowledge and experience that I've gained and I've learned over the years. You know, we don't give any advice when it comes to investments or taxes or accounting or legal advice, any of that stuff. Anytime that you hear, and this is just a caution, a word of caution, because I've been around for a while. Anytime you have somebody that's offering you a guaranteed return on investment, let's say they're saying, oh, it's 4% a week, 8% a week, run, because those are illegal. That's illegal. You can't do that. And most of those are pyramid schemes or mining programs that are not backed by any type of assets whatsoever. And you'll, as we peel back tonight and you look at this presentation, you'll understand the difference. So we don't offer any guarantees of income. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Now, what we do is we offer education, we offer software, we offer hardware. We help people to make money, but mostly we help them to manage their money and multiply their money. You know, if you think back to school, I didn't learn anything about even how to balance a checking account. At the very basic level, they didn't teach you anything about how to put your money to work for you, right? They just taught you how to go to work. And the unfortunate thing about that is the reason why that there's such a small percentage of people that are ultimately getting into true wealth, and why you hear these terms, and I don't like these terms because I think they're very limiting, but only the wealthy get more wealthy, right? Well, it's because they learn these concepts and principles of how to put their money to work. They learn these concepts of leverage. And that's essentially what we're doing as a company, is teaching these same principles. So with that, let's go ahead and get right into it tonight. The company that we focus on, IX Global tonight, is designed and created by a wonderful man named Joe Martinez, and he created it to innovate, to inspire, to impact, to inspire positive change and achievement in people and communities across the globe through our entrepreneurial digital platform. We've accomplished some pretty amazing things. In fact, here we just celebrated our 3-year anniversary together. 3 years. We were, many of us that are on this presentation tonight were in the Dominican Republic. In fact, Boomy, I didn't think was ever going to come home. Those guys were just celebrating, and I kept looking, and I was like, man, I don't think they're even going to come back. But she finally came back here. They both of them finally came back here this week. But you know, we just celebrated our 3rd-year anniversary, which is a huge milestone. And we have done some pretty amazing things in that 3 years. You know, we started off in our first year during COVID, which is a crazy time to launch a business. We did 4 million in sales, launched primarily or only exclusively in India at that point. 2021, we did $22 million in sales. And in 2022, we did $206 million in sales. Some of the notable things you can read through here. But some of the notables here is we are now the #1 momentum company in the world, which I think deserves a round of applause. I mean, if you guys think about it, there's 7,000, 8,000 direct sales companies that are out there. We're the #1 momentum company in the world. And it's because of the information that we're sharing, because of the tools and resources that we're sharing. We also have over 100 of the top earners in the entire network marketing profession. I'm talking about 100 of the top 500 earners in all of these 7,000, 8,000 companies in our company. And it's, again, because of the education and the resources that we're sharing. We've got an amazing ecosystem. And, you know, I love our ecosystem because it's designed, again, to help people not only make money, but to preserve that money, to multiply that money. And we have different resources that are focused around financial markets, e-commerce, education when it comes to blockchain and NFTs. Blockchain has changed the entire world. Community and leadership unlike any other. I mean, where you can just plug into some brilliant minds through our online communities, through our many different calls that are happening throughout the week, technology, through our apps. So we've just got a lot of wonderful resources that are available. Starting off with our financial markets, you have the ability to grow as an investor and begin generating results with some of the most profitable financial markets. We've got some different trading opportunities and academies that are available to you. So we do have an iTrade Academy that you can start learning at your own pace, over 300 hours of professional material and courses, education in several languages. You receive live education from our experts with results, and you learn how to even copy and paste trading signals that can help make you money. And you can learn how to invest from basic all the way to your most advanced level. We have within our trading platforms, we have different, we provide education and signals within binary options, synthetic indices, within crypto now, and within Forex and within stocks. Our IX crypto service is something new that we've recently added, our crypto signals and education. Cryptocurrency, there's money to be made in up markets, there's money to be made in down markets, and there's value in learning what are the indicators that move these markets. A lot of the cryptocurrency industry is cyclical, and also it's very important to understand what drives the price, what drives the value. And so we provide an educational platform called IX Alpha, that will start providing education, and that's as little as $25 per month, folks. We also have partnered with a educational trading platform. It's a foundational platform called Driven, and they're doing some really cool things. They provide trading strategies, Driven Trading Live. We have a Driven Trading app, Driven Trading Academy. They've got all kinds of wonderful on-demand training platforms that are available. In addition to that, they're doing some really neat things now where they're catering to the lady bosses, right? The women that are in trading that are learning. Babe Boomy's shaking her hand. You know, the women that are wanting to learn how to trade, they've got some courses that are designed specifically for them. We're now catering towards the athletes, towards the entrepreneurs. And so the feedback has been wonderful since we've launched the platform. We do have some great on-demand e-commerce educational training platforms that are available as well for those of you that are wanting to learn how to launch an e-commerce business. The world has moved from brick and mortar to click and order. So learning how to start to put together an e-commerce business is something that we also provide. And that's called ICOM. So that's something that you can plug into as well. And then we also, a lot of people don't know about this. We have a Travel Pro platform that you can plug into, which gives you anywhere from 5 to 40% in cash back and up to 70% in discounts as well. When it comes to our blockchain and our NFTs, we've got just some of the best, and we are privileged and fortunate enough to have recently partnered. I say recently now, it's been a year, coming up on a year in May. We partnered with the authority in asset-backed crypto. And I want you to hear this statement, and I want you to think about this for a moment. Bitcoin paved the way for digital currency. Bitcoin was first. Without them, none of this is possible. We are paving the way for asset-backed cryptocurrency. In the exact same way that Bitcoin went first, we are doing the exact same thing for the next big wave in the entire digital currency space. And I'm not just saying that. You can see the evidence of that just by going out there and looking at the JP Morgans and the Wells Fargos and many others that are preparing themselves for this asset-backed wave that's now projected to be worth as much as $50 trillion. I don't know about you, but I've learned, you know, one of the biggest success formulas that I've ever subscribed to, and it's served me well over the years, is figure out where people are going and get there faster. Now, that's a great success formula, right? Identify the trends. But let me take it a step further. If you can get there faster and then solve some of the biggest problems in that industry, that's where true wealth, I'm talking about legacy wealth, can be created. And that is exactly what we've done here. You know, if you think about the cryptocurrency industry as a whole, excuse me, if you even think back to the last bull run that we had a few years ago, it was driven by a lot of hype and it was driven by a lot of speculation. You have a lot of these projects that were, you know, they were hyped up by social media, they were hyped up by paid celebrities, and people are tired of that. They're tired of chasing these meme coins, hoping to get lucky, hoping to get the timing right before the big owners sell and the rug is pulled out from underneath these projects. And then you have this company called Debt that comes along that's 15 years in the making. They did $2.2 billion in revenue last year. And essentially what they've done is they have tied the crypto digital space of mining with the physical space of mining. And they've married them together in a way that I don't know if there could even be another company that could duplicate what they've done. Because of their history, because of the relationships, and because of the infrastructure, we have been able to now launch close to a dozen projects. And every one of our projects is backed by real world assets that are in high demand. Commodities like oil, commodities like natural gas or aluminum or water, just to give you an example of a few. Real estate. One of our newest projects called data center mining is just going to blow your mind. And we're going to talk about that here in just a few minutes. So a lot of people, they hear the word mining and it's confusing. I'm going to break it down at a very simple level for you. All mining is confirming transactions. I want you to think about it when you pull out your debit card and you go swipe it and you wait for an approval to come back. There has to be a third-party clearinghouse that approves that transaction. And they actually, that third party takes a little piece of the pie. Well, in cryptocurrency, the whole point was to get the banks out of the middle of the transaction, get the people out of the middle of your pockets and allow us, let's say Doug and I, to transact the way that we're able to transact without other people in the middle of it. But there still has to be a way to authenticate this currency, this digital currency, and validate these transactions. And that's where nodes come into play. So when you buy a mining license, you are buying what's called a node. And that node is connecting to a network of other node holders. And all they do is they validate transactions all day long. Now, you don't have to do anything. It's happening automatically. Each one of these nodes is pre-programmed with algorithms that are doing all of the work. And for that work, they are being paid what's called a reward. And those node holders share in those rewards. The more node holders that are on the network, the less the amount of rewards are paid. If you get in early and there's less node holders on, the more rewards that are paid. I'll give you an example. So Bitcoin miners back in 2009, they were mining 5,000 plus Bitcoin per day. Sounds exciting, but those Bitcoin were only worth 0.0009. Now, the first year, people were mining. They were getting about 5,000 Bitcoin a day, but it wasn't a lot of money. It amounted to maybe $1 or $2 a day. And people held on and they held on because they believed. And somewhere along the way, a year, 18 months in, some of those people sold. In fact, one of them, you've heard the story. Many of you have. They sold millions of Bitcoin for two pizzas. That's what it was for. And it was the most expensive, it ended up being the most expensive pizza ever in history, because I think that pizza ended up being worth something like $357 million when all was said and done. But they just did, this has been 2 years and this is not going up. But around year 3, the value started kicking in. And then Bitcoin went up over $1. Then it went up over $3. And then it went up over $300. And people lost their minds. I'm selling $300. That's it. Now, I gotta know, if you were in the early days and you were mining and you were collecting 5,000 a day, and it went from 0.003 to $300, are you selling at that point? I gotta know. I think that I'd probably be. Some of you are shaking your head no. I gotta say I'm selling at least 80%, 70 to 80%. But then when it went to $3,000, you might be kicking yourself. And then when it went to $9,000, you might be kicking yourself more. And when it went all the way to 69,000 per token, you get the idea. And that's why I'm so excited to be here, you guys, because I genuinely believe that what we have is just as impactful to the cryptocurrency space. It's the most significant thing that has come along in cryptocurrency than Bitcoin itself. I'm going to say that again. What we have here is the most significant thing to come along in the digital currency space. It's the most impactful thing that has come along in this entire industry since Bitcoin itself. That is why I'm so excited that I get my thousands of tokens that are worth 0.0003 right now. I don't care what the price is today, because I understand the value of the impact that we have. So looking at the debt ecosystem, blockchain and cryptocurrencies can be complex, they can be overwhelming. What debt has done is they've taken that complex and they've simplified it. when you wanted to mine Bitcoin 12 years ago, you had to go buy these, and even today still, you have to go buy these expensive rigs, these expensive machines. They look like a generator. You spend $4,000 on them. They only last for maybe, a year at most. And you've got to then power them. And power is a big problem in the Bitcoin industry. In fact, some states are trying to outlaw Bitcoin mining, states like New York, for example, because it requires so much electricity. And today, a Bitcoin miner produces about $3.50 per day. Now, why would people go through all this trouble to mine Bitcoin at $3.50 today? Because they believe the future value will be significantly higher. And to them, it's worth it. So what debt has done, is they've taken the guesswork out of the equation. They've taken all of the physical equipment and all of the complicated stuff out, and they created a software that allows us to be able to do this with a very simple app on my phone. And whether I'm at home, whether I'm in the Dominican Republic, my app is paying me tokens 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that is what is so exciting. So how it works is very simple. You simply buy a mining license and you get it activated. And by the way, the activation happens automatically through the company. It typically takes about 48 to 72 hours from purchase time to assignment to your license is now mining. Step 2 is you now start watching these rewards come in every single day. I still log in like 3 times a day. I'd be curious how many times you lie. I log in just to see the tokens coming in real time. I love opening it up. I'll admit it. Occasionally, I'll be at lunch with some friends, and I have to just open up my app and I kind of look at it and I kind of slowly turn it around a little and like show them what it is, because I just think it's so exciting. Because you just watch these, and it's real tokens. These are real tokens that have real value. I can cash them in real time if I want to. I can swap them for other tokens in the community, or I can hold them long term for potential upside. I am a long-term holder. I don't care about price today. Why? Because price and value are 2 different things. And it takes some time, just like in Bitcoin, for price to catch up to value. For me, I understand a very simple philosophy that can build you true wealth if you understand it. And I'm going to share it with you here. And this is one of the most valuable things I could share with you on this presentation. The decisions that you make in a down market, we are in a down market right now. It's called a bear market. The decisions that you make in a down market and the coins that you accumulate during that same period of time can build you true wealth in the next 3 to 5 years. Why? Because let's say I accumulate 5,000 Bitcoin a day, and I do that over 2 years. It's a lot of Bitcoin over a 2-year period. It may only be worth 0.003. You multiply that out, it might be only worth $10,000, maybe whatever, got $15,000. But what if those same Bitcoin now go to $3, $7? What if they go to $3,000, $9,000, $69,000, and you're the one holding all those tokens? That to me is where the true potential is. That's why we tell people it's not get rich quick here. And there are no guarantees. You either believe in the value that we bring to the table or you don't. You either understand the value of, I'll put it into perspective this way when we talk about value. 4% of the world owns a cryptocurrency wallet. 10% will own a cryptocurrency wallet within the next 2 years. So let me ask you this. That's a lot of growth. Do you think they'd rather have coins that are backed by nothing or coins that are backed by gold? Would they rather have coins that are backed by hype and celebrities that are pumping up stuff on social media that has no utility, no purpose, or would they rather have something that's backed by real estate, backed by commodities that are in high demand like water? For that reason, I believe in what we're doing here. Now, how is this all possible? How are these assets real? That's where the history of the company comes into play. For the last 15 years, these guys have already been on the ground mining. Their families have been mining before them. They discovered a technology, a satellite scanning technology, about 7 years ago that allowed them to become much more efficient. It allowed them to be able to locate through frequency reading commodities that are in the ground. They can read those frequencies, and they have the ability now through the algorithms that they've established to be able to pinpoint these commodities with unimaginable accuracy. We can now locate gold to within a few feet in the ground. Now, there are these different exploratory companies, big, massive companies, right? I'm talking about ExxonMobil. They have these subsidiary companies that go out and they drill holes in the ground, not very eco-friendly. And as much as 50 to 60% of these holes, so I've been told, I'm not an expert, I've actually been told more, I'm being conservative now, are dry. So you can imagine the millions of dollars that's spent just trying to identify where oil is in the ground, or natural gas, or gold, how to extract the gold. We now provide a service, and we are one of only 2 companies in the world that has this technology. The other one is not, they're not utilizing it in the same capacity at all, that is capable of providing this type of accuracy for our partners. And so over time, what's happened is we've now become the Uber of the mining industry. What do I mean by that? Uber is the largest transportation company in the world that doesn't have any cars. In the same way, we're the largest mining company in the world now that doesn't own any mining equipment. What we do is we provide services that make companies much more efficient. We save them a lot of money, and in return, they give us a royalty. We get on average a 5% royalty of every single partner, and we have hundreds of them all around the world, to the point now where it's so big, we're not just partnering with smaller companies or even exploratory companies. We're partnering with countries. We're partnering with, sheiks of major countries or presidents of major countries. It all started with us being able to go to small exploratory companies, like, for example, what you see here. This is our Nevada oil field project. This project was a well that was drilled in the 50s and 60s. They thought that it had gone dry. They brought us in. We scanned the land. You can see one of the scans here. You can see it in 2D down there on the bottom right, and on the left, you can see the little green area was where they drilled in the 50s and 60s. The pink was a chamber of oil that they did not know existed. We were able to help them locate that oil, and it was such a large reserve that we now have the ability to be able to recover 5,000 barrels of oil per day for the next 20 years. Do you think they were happy to pay us a 5% royalty on this particular project? You bet they were. We decided to take, at the time, those oil wells and those oil reserves, and more specifically the royalties that were coming in, and we wanted to back them, or back a cryptocurrency project. And the concept was, let's bring real value to the cryptocurrency industry. So we launched BGLD. It launched in November of 2021. It launched at 5 zeros and a 1. And within, I think it was a matter of 6 months, it went up 120,000% at its peak. And we've sold much more than now 9,200 licenses. Is a little bit outdated, but many, many licenses. In fact, this project is now sold out. We had a 50,000 licenses total. And it became one of the most successful projects of 2021. Keep in mind, during 2021, this was during the time where every other project in the entire industry was crashing. Why did it do so well? Because people were so excited about asset-backed cryptocurrency. We now have unique wallet holders in over 65 countries around the world. This particular project created over 65 unique wallet holders with over $1 million in those holders, an average of $2 million a day per volume. There you go, 92,000 total licenses sold. Largest sales day was $20 million. It became one of the top 30 tokens in the industry. So it's a very successful project. We now have quite a few wells that are online. We have royalties coming in from Nebraska, Nevada. We have sites that are in Ghana. We have multiple sites in Texas. We actually have over 100 wells that are currently in underwriting. Both our oil and gas projects are set to go through some significant growth over the next 1 to 2 years. So the success of Black Gold, what we talk about accumulation. Let's say that you got in early. Black Gold at the time was paying out thousands of tokens per day. It was about 40,000 tokens per day to be exact when it first launched. Now that sounds exciting, but it was only worth about $2 to $3 per day. So some people might have sold. They said, it's not worth $2 to $3 a day. If you try to compute and calculate the ROI on that, a license at the time was about $1,000 to purchase. You might think, gosh, it's going to take a long time to break even. But those same amount of tokens in a very short period of time started to go up. And this was January 2nd to January 11th. So this is only about 60 days after the project launched. You can see the same amount of tokens went from 1,300 to 2,300. And then you go to January 21st, they went to 11,000. And then as you keep going forward to March 13th, they went to 19,000. So if you can understand the concept of accumulation, now I want to be very clear, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Every project is totally different. These were totally different circumstances, totally different environment. However, the concept is the same. It's about accumulation. So this just gives you an idea of our proof of concept project. We have a utility token called DET. It is now listed on PancakeSwap, Bitmark, LBank, BitTrue. We are working hard to get listed on Binance. The reason why this is so important, with every new exchange that we're on, it just brings more credibility. Because after some of these exchanges have fallen, trust me, things have changed, and it's becoming more and more hard to list on some of these exchanges. And our utility token is on a number of different exchanges. We've got a lot of wonderful projects that we've introduced. Our first 4 projects are now sold out. So DET, NatG, Black Gold, and Grow. Congratulations to those of you that had a chance to be able to get your hands on some of these projects. With that, we've introduced some amazing new projects, digitally linked gold and aluminum, Explorer and Bev and Blocks and Drip and DCM. These are all some of our newest projects, and they range in price from 2,000, which is digitally linked gold. Think about that for a moment. The dollar used to be backed by gold. Now we've got cryptocurrency backed by real bullion. Aluminum, we're partnered with the largest aluminum, one of the largest aluminum companies in the world, largest in Ghana, which is the Oxide Corporation. You can look them up. We've helped 7x their production since we partnered with them last June. There's enough aluminum in these particular hills to be able to mine for the next 100 years. Explorer is a project where we are now leveraging the satellite technology that we have, and it's the first cryptocurrency project that is backed by satellites in space. I have very, very high hopes and expectations about with this particular project. Bev is tapping into the beverage industry. It's a $1.7 trillion recession-proof industry. I say recession-proof. Go to Starbucks in the morning, even during a recession, and tell me what that line looks like in the morning. Blocks is real estate, really, really cool real estate project that you can get involved with. Drip, one of my favorite projects, backed by one of the most valuable commodities in the world, which is water, and data center mining, which just is unbelievable. We have figured out and pioneered a way to now fuel all of these different blockchain Bitcoin data centers, right? There's massive Bitcoin data centers that are run by large corporations. I'm talking hundreds of millions of dollars. What if there was a way to take the natural gas burn off that we already have that's basically not being used for anything and now fuel these data centers? Clean, efficient, inexpensive. Do you think that these data centers would prefer to have that type of fuel over the rising cost of electricity that they've been experiencing? Do you think that countries would even say, hey, we're going to make it mandatory to use this new clean, efficient fuel, as opposed to the not so eco-friendly energy that you've been using? That is exactly what we've just introduced, and we've already got data centers on board. I'm telling you guys, this is huge, and that is about to launch. It's coming up. We're pre-selling those licenses. We start mining on the 23rd. One of the coolest things that I think that we've done is we have now introduced a way for everybody to participate in mining. Not everybody can afford to start with a mining license, let's say that's $2,000 or $3,000. We've now introduced micronodes for as little as $50 per node. You have the ability to be able to buy, starts off at 3 nodes, so it's $150. You can start buying a small amount or a small percentage of a node. And if you're on a subscription, you just keep gaining more and more each month. It's kind of like, if you were to go buy gold, most people don't go buy a bar of gold, right? That would cost you $70,000, $80,000, but you might start buying a gram of gold every month and just start collecting it. In that exact same way, we've now opened it up where we have the ability to be able, or anyone has the ability to be able to start building ownership in a license that will continue to pay you for the life of time of the entire project. And keep in mind, we have projects that are projected to go for hundreds of years, if they ever stop at all. Some of my licenses will be mining, and my children will be enjoying the benefits of those licenses long after I'm gone. Now, I do want to point out that we do have a 10% fee, transaction fee, anytime that you are liquidating, or you are cashing out, or you are moving in from one token to the next within our ecosystem. A lot of people don't like this fee until they understand what it does. Number one, what it's designed to do is it's designed to keep the whales out. We don't want to have one major person that comes in is controlling a large amount of the tokens that when they sell, it turns the token value upside down. Whales don't like to pay that fee. It also protects against snipers or day traders that come in, because it's hard to trade on a token when you're paying a 10% fee. But if you really break down what it's used for, 2% goes to a burn wallet. Essentially, with every transaction, 2% of that is being sent to a burn wallet where the tokens are being removed from the supply. What does that do? It creates a diminishing supply or a deflationary effect. We're living in inflation because there's too many dollars. But when you constantly are reducing the supply, you create a deflationary effect. In addition to that, there's a 4% EGI wallet. This basically is so that the node network is always growing in value, and 4% goes to liquidity. This is so that you always have money that's there to be able to cash in and liquidate your tokens at any given time. So these tokenomics, some of this was borrowed from Bitcoin, the deflationary mechanisms right at the transaction is one of those things that we've borrowed from Bitcoin. We also have halvings and even quarterly quarterings that are taking place the same way that Bitcoin has, that removes half of or a quarter of these tokens from the supply every quarter, every year, depending on the project. Now, why is that so significant? For those of you that are newer to the crypto industry, Bitcoin has a halving every 4 years. And if you understand that Bitcoin goes in cycles, the industry moves in cycles. And essentially what happens is every time that Bitcoin has gone through a halving, they take half of the tokens that are in circulation, they send them to a burn wallet. There's a set amount of tokens that will ever be minted. So as that halving happens, you're diminishing the supply, which makes them more valuable. Every time that has happened, Bitcoin has surged to a new all-time high. The rest of the industry and the altcoin market tends to follow. So it's cyclical. The next halving is projected to be in 2024. In that exact same way, we have halvings that are happening every quarter or every 6 months or every year, depending on the project. Now, why do we do it a little more often? Because everybody hates when Bitcoin hits a new all-time high and everybody sells and it crashes. Everybody hates sitting there for 3 years waiting for the next halving. Again, the entire purpose of what we are doing, the utility, is to help reduce the volatility, make people feel a little more comfortable about getting into this space. I talk about that app all the time that I love. I open up that app. You know, you don't have to be an expert in this industry to be successful if you're building a business here. All you have to be able to do is open that app and show people these tokens coming in real time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You don't have to be on an auto ship. You don't have to recruit anybody. You don't have to build a business. And perhaps one of my favorite things about this business is that as I go about building my IX Global business, I'm collecting these licenses that are building my future, building my family's future, building my legacy. It's my mini retirement plan over the next 3 to 5 years. It all comes back to real world assets. Our projects, we go out of our way to bring our leaders to these different sites all around the world. We have all kinds of video footage from these different sites, education, so that you can go and do the validation that you need to see firsthand that these projects are absolutely real. And finally, I'll just end with, as we close kind of up here, the community. I believe that one of the most important things that you can do is surround yourself with the right people. I've learned this the hard way when I was younger, and I've learned this now by surrounding myself with some of the most brilliant and skilled individuals, leaders, many of them that are on this call tonight, as well as individuals like Jason and Jake and Roy and Shad, who are the owners of Debtbox. I have learned so much by surrounding myself with these individuals, by getting involved with our community, whether you just want to be a customer and you don't want to build a business, or you want to start creating an additional revenue stream by going out and sharing this with others because it's too good not to share. This community will add so much value to your life that I personally would be willing to spend $50,000, $100,000 to continue to have access to this community over the next 12 months. I am involved in and have been involved in coaching platforms where I've spent that much money to be involved with or just to be connected to individuals, their networks, and their knowledge. Why? Because I believe that personal growth is priceless. I believe that knowledge is priceless. And our community, once you become a member, is free. I mean, it essentially, you are connected to some of the most brilliant minds inside of this space where you have opportunities to be able to go on trips, like we were just in the Dominican Republic. We were in Barcelona 6 months ago, where you can go and learn from people that are literally earning millions of dollars a month, not a year, a month, that you can learn from and listen to. Where again, any other environment, you'd spend tens of thousands of dollars. Now, how can you get involved? How can you participate? Like I said, you can be a member, a customer. It's kind of like Costco, right? I could go spend $50 to be a basic member, and I now have access to all of this community. I have access to the education. I have access to the licenses that we sell at wholesale pricing. A lot of people don't understand this. You could go to debt and you could buy the licenses directly from debt, and you're going to pay a lot more money there because they sell them retail. We buy millions of dollars of licenses at a time, and we sell them at a cheaper price to our members. So you can buy a basic membership, or if you want to get involved in a pro membership, now you're going to start to get into some education. You're going to start getting into, we talk about channels. What are these channels? This is where you start getting trading signals. You start getting into some of the trading academy and some of the other online educational academies that we have. We also have a premium membership, which now gives you access to our Driven Trading, which is our flagship trading platform, all of the different education, live trading, all of those things that are available to you as well. There's a lot of different resources that are available inside of this community. You can also come in, and if you'd like, if you want to just buy some micro nodes, we now have the ability for somebody to come in, and if they'd like, they can just get started and buy basic or a premium micro package and get yourself started on the micro nodes and start enjoying the benefits of being I can't use the term fractional owner, but you start building up ownership in these different licenses that we currently have. Finally, when it comes to building your own business, for those of you that are here that maybe are open to the idea of creating an additional revenue stream, I personally believe that the key right now to getting ahead is diversification, multiple streams of income. One source of income, or even a combined household income with husband and wife, is no longer enough. I love the idea that we provide an ability for people to get involved, learn our community, build belief in it, and then go out and share it. And in the process, you can build a very significant income. That's exactly what I did. I started off as a customer, built belief. It was too good not to share, and ultimately started sharing it. And now my wife and I have been blessed significantly as a result of sharing it with others. So you can build a digital business here. There's 4 ways that you get paid through direct bonuses. When you share it, you can receive a commission. There's apprentice bonuses as you start to teach others and share it with others, and then rank bonuses as you start to become a leader, and then team commissions. You can start to create a leveraged income for yourself. Direct bonuses are very simple. When you share, one of the memberships, you receive a quick commission right out of the gate. You can also receive commissions off of the licenses that are sold. We have an apprentice bonus, which is great. You go out and get 3 people, you can earn $130. What's neat about that is that you can qualify for this even at the $50 level in our compensation plan. And then we have our rank bonuses, which is one of the neatest parts of our plan. For those of you that are network marketers, you'll understand this. In a binary compensation plan, how many times have you experienced where you've got one leg that's built to here to kingdom come and nothing on the other side? It happens all the time in this industry. And how much money do you make in that scenario? 0. However, in our comp plan, do you realize that with one leg, you can earn up to $100,000 a year with only having volume on one side? Only company in the industry that I know of that allows that to happen. That is through our weekly rank bonuses. Not only that, we have a guaranteed income here. You hit these ranks each week. This is a guaranteed rank bonus that you will receive. I get a $2,000 check every single week just because I continue to qualify at ambassador or higher. Then we have team commissions. Team commissions are kind of fun because in addition to that, you get paid to help other people be successful. It's the ultimate pay it forward model. As you start to go out and teach and share and mentor and help others be successful, you continue to build your check as well. You can earn up to 20% of your team commissions every single week. So there's a lot of different ways that you can get paid. There's ways that you can, it's very easy to withdraw your money directly to your bank account. You can do it through PayPal. You can even withdraw your money in crypto if you want to. I'll tell you this in closing. I heard about this, as I shared with you, just under an hour ago. I heard about this opportunity from a great friend of mine, Brian Robert. He called me and he said, look, I'm not trying to recruit you. I just got something that you need to see. And I smiled a little bit and said, sure, you're not trying to recruit me. But I looked at it and I told you guys I was at a place where I really was feeling uncertain about what to do with my money and how to get ahead in this environment. And I decided to take a chance and I bought 10 NatG licenses. I started watching them. I started watching the tokens coming in. I started looking at all the different, the transparency on the blockchain and all of the things that I haven't seen with a lot of the programs I'd seen in the past. I went to dinner one night with a few friends of mine and they're all investors and we're involved in an investor group. And we were talking about a land deal. And something just inspired me to say, well, I bought some nodes today. And as I shared with you earlier, they looked at me and said, what's a node? And I said, well, let me show you. And I pulled out my app and I said, it's commodity backed crypto. This is backed by natural gas. Do you see these tokens coming in? This is crypto coming into my wallet. And they were fascinated. And they said, well, how many do you have? And I said, I have 10 of them. And they said, well, how do we get those? And at the time they were priced at $2,500. I paid $2,500 per license for mine. And I told them, I said, well, they're $2,500 license. And by the time we were done, they kept asking me questions. And I'm like, I don't know about that. What I do know is this app pays me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's the coolest thing since sliced bread. By the time we were done, every one of them said, I'll buy 10 of them. So I texted Joe, the owner, and I said, hey, I think I just sold $100,000 in licenses. I don't even know what I'm doing. And I'm not even trying to sell this. And I said, I think I need to see your comp plan. And so that's when I started exploring the idea of maybe I could build a business with this. It seems like it's a great concept. And I was sold on it. And this was in June. July 11th, I put a post on my wall that said, what do oil, natural gas, gold, precious metals, high yielding agriculture, and cryptocurrency have in common? More specifically, what do they have in common with the business that I'm about to launch? People started asking questions. I didn't know the answer to those questions. So I just said, hey, listen, I'm going to add you to a group and I'm going to put you in front of a presentation that explains it a lot better than I can. And in the next 4 weeks, we did about 4.2 million in sales, and we generated about $125,000 in commissions in that next 30 days. Since that time, it's gotten a lot bigger, is what I will tell you. It's well over 7 figures in a 10-month period. I did not bring this massive team in here from some other network marketing company. I did it by simply doing what I'm doing with you tonight, which is sharing my heart, sharing where I was when I found this, sharing since then what I found, and sharing my excitement for the future. You do not have to be a crypto expert to be successful here at IX Global. What you do have to do is have a little bit of patience and be excited enough to go and share it with others, because I can tell you that they're looking. It's changed my family's life. I want you to know that. It's not just changed my life now. I get the chills even thinking about it. I got goosebumps. It's changed the lives of so many people that are on this presentation here. You can't see their smiling faces, but I can see them. I'm going to show you one right here. I'm going to just spotlight her right there. It's changed these two's lives. They've been, in fact, I'm going to unmute you here for a second. Boomy, Boomy. Listen, like I said, Boomy didn't even want to come back from the Dominican Republic. I thought she was going to move there. Where are you at? Raise your hand for a second, Boomy, so I can find you in here. I want to be able to unmute you. Boomy didn't want to come back. Like, she was just having a good old time. There you are. Okay. And allowed to make co-host. There you go. I'm gonna make you co-host. So Boomy, has this changed your life? I'm just curious.
Let me tell you all, I am feeling so blessed for the last 9 months that I've been here with IX Global. This came from me at a time where a lot of people have this story where a company kind of fails you, you don't fail it, and my income had dropped 95%. And thank God Cedric Harris shared this with me. And because of this dynamic compensation plan, it didn't take me long to get to 5 figures a month. And I was basically ignorance on fire. I knew this was something sound and real. Just the fact that it was crypto actually backed by something, that's all I needed to know. And I just got on the phones and started sharing it with people and inviting them to your calls, letting them hear your recordings, just the 3-minute, the 9-minute, getting them in the debt info group. And they got the information and people started joining because they saw it was something real, different, something of substance and tangibility in the crypto space. And then, as you said, it just started spreading. And I'm excited that we're just getting going. It hasn't even been a year yet. So
it's a lot of fun.
Yet to come.
We're glad you came back. We're glad both of you guys. Did you have fun out there in the Dominican?
Oh my gosh, IX treats you first class. When they put out a contest, guys, go for it and win it. You can get your airfare paid for. You get 5-star accommodations. You have so much fun. You build these great relationships. And as Travis said, I was like, okay, this is just so awesome. Thanks to what IX has going on in our life, we were able to like extend twice. So we were out there like for 2 weeks. So I just love, and so this industry gives you time freedom. So money, time freedom, relationships is just a wonderful place to be. So I thank you, Travis, for bringing this to the US. So we're all here because of you. So I'm humbled and grateful.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'd like to go to just one more friend of mine. He's up in Utah, and he actually saw that post. I believe it was the post, Eric, that you responded to. He saw me share that and said, commodity-backed crypto. And Eric, do you mind just sharing your experience since then?
Sure. Yeah, I was actually following some of your messages, hidden messages. Let's just put it that way. In kind of what you were looking at and doing, and then you ended up posting that, and I was like, because I'm a huge believer. I've been playing in cryptos for a long time, and I saw that, and I just absolutely jumped on board. I think I signed up about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks after you did, and I'm just so amazed at where we have been with this and what we've been able to do, Dominican Republic and Spain before that. And, it's just been life-changing, and it's been a lot of fun. And the biggest rewarding thing for me with this is that I've been able to work with others and to see their lives change and what they've been able to accomplish, and to hear from them thank yous on being able to share this with them, and seeing what they've been able to accomplish and being able to do, and eliminate, an extra job that they had or whatever it may be. And that's so rewarding. And that's what this was all about for me. Is when I got involved with this, it wasn't so much at first was the business side. I wanted to get in and just buy cryptos and nodes and get really involved. But then I saw this, and I was like, man, it'd be a disservice for me not to talk to people about this, because it is so amazing. And that's what's been the biggest blessing for me and my wife and my family for this. So, and I thank you, Travis, for that. I really do, because it's taken on a different life of a business than I ever imagined. And I'm grateful for you and your family and everything for allowing us to be part of this journey with you.
Appreciate you very much, Eric. And like I said, guys, Eric owns 685 licenses. So if you want to know if he's a believer, he's definitely a believer. Last person I'm going to call on here is Mr. Chris Lingle. Chris Lingle's been in the community, and he's a leader within IX Global. Chris, what do you think the impact is that debt is having in the entire cryptocurrency industry, and what impact has IX had on you and your family?
I love your presentation, Travis, and I think the debt box is just shaking things up. I think it's bringing that realness to crypto, and what I've seen is a lot of people that have always been kind of on the outside of crypto that I'm talking to are really excited about getting involved in this, because they finally see that tangibility behind crypto assets, right? And and that also comes with teaching people the cryptocurrency space, right, that are brand new. So that also comes, but that's where being a leader and jumping in and helping people. But I think it's just great. I love what you say. I love opening up my debt app and watching my tokens accumulate. I'm actually in the process of buying some more nodes right now. As I was listening to you, I was multitasking and doing a little bit of that and moving some money around. But IX Global, I've been almost the beginning. I've been a part of IX Global, and it's just really a family, and that's what you get the feel if you were in the Dominican with Boomy and Travis and the whole team. It was just, that's what we have here as an IX family, and you can find something to help your life be successful here. And that's what I found. It's changed my life for the better. We have a whole, it's not just about money, everyone. Joe's launching a 90-day challenge for the CEO challenge, and we're all fighting over to do a $50,000 top prize. So it's about bettering yourself, bettering your family, always, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, and especially financially. And that's what we're doing with DebtBox and everything else. So thank you, Travis. Travis, you're muted.
Well said. Well said. So everybody wants to know what you're buying. What are you buying right now?
So I'm buying DCM, Travis. That thing, I tell you what, I think NatG was my first love, because that was the first one I had. But man, that DCM, it has me really excited.
I couldn't agree with you more. Well, listen, our time is up here this evening. I appreciate you guys sticking with us tonight. We do have a dead info group, and we're doing a lot of lives in that group this next week. We're going to be going live at least every day. I'm going to start calling on a lot of these different leaders to help with that, by the way. And we're going to just be educating about Drip, which is a phenomenal project that we launched just a month ago that I think is kind of not getting the attention it deserves, because all of a sudden DCM's right on its heels. But that's an amazing, amazing project. And then we have DCM that's going to be launching on the 23rd. Those licenses are available for pre-sale now. $2,000 off, by the way. You can take advantage of that between now and the 23rd through IX Global. It's $5,000 on those licenses right now, or you can take advantage of why am I'm losing my mind? The micronodes. It's been a long day. Micronodes. So, but if you have any questions, get back to the person that shared this presentation with you. If you're watching it on demand, we would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. For those of you that are coming on board, welcome to IX Global. And we look forward to seeing you very soon. We do these presentations every Wednesday night. So invite a friend, bring them on back with us. We've also got a lot of other great presentations that are happening throughout the week. So with that, let's dream big, let's work hard, let's go change some lives. God bless. You guys take care. Thank you for tuning in.
Thanks, Travis.